Hi everyone, I'm Candace the Shaman.
And I am Spirit Medium Jenn.
Here is a mini clip of our episode. If you would like to watch more, you can click on the link below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos from our podcast. Absolutely.
Fulfilling for the soul.
And I think along with that too is remembering, okay, we are spirit. We are this infinite being of light and of love in this physical journey. There is duality in all things. That's part of the journey. You know, there's happiness, there's sadness, there's joy, and there's heaviness. Like it's literally within everything. And we're so aware of the duality in the world right now, in viewpoints of this or of that. And I think that what we come here to learn is to be aware of the duality. And yes, we may think, okay, this is what I really subscribe with. This really resonates with me. But knowing that there is duality in all things doesn't mean that we have to solely label ourselves with one duality. Like we can be brought to the center and say, I'm aware of both sides. I'm aware of light and dark in all things. But yet, if I label myself so much on one thing, it's causing me to pull away. And I say this in the sense of, let's take organized religion, right? There are so many good things that come from organized religion. And yet there are some people who have been wounded or are so against it that they're like completely closed off. They're bashing, they're bringing this heavy energy towards it. When in reality, what we're being called to see is, yes, maybe something's not drawing for you. It's not there for you. And maybe you're drawn to it. That's perfect. But when we label ourselves with that's bad or that's wrong, we're taking ourselves, it's not that we're taking ourselves out of the equation because we're here to learn what we're going to learn. But it's almost like we're being called to say, okay, hey, look, there's duality. Where can I find peace within myself that it's not overpowering me in a positive way or a negative way? It's bringing me back to my soul's center so that I can fulfill my soul's contracts here. And maybe that's you being angry at organized religion for your whole life, whatever that is. But at the same time, it's like, but there's so much more that we're here to fulfill and here to accomplish. Is it serving you or is it holding you back? And that's just one experience of your viewpoint upon it. Not saying you have to not be in it or not. All I'm saying is how we're viewing something and the duality connected to it. Is it serving us or is it causing us to have this spiral in our mind that's not allowing us to see any other perspective? And that's just one experience, right?
Oh, yes. And you brought up a point earlier, like the eagle's eye view.
Yeah.
And this is one of the other great gifts about the Aquarian Age because it's connected with the element of air. And the guardian of air is the eagle. It's the eagle's perspective. One of the amazing gifts of the eagle is that it can see the overall picture. It's able to kind of pull itself out of the forest and say, okay, where does all of this connect? I'm not really focused on this or that. And I'm not going to pendulum in this duality or in that duality. But where can I find that common ground? Because when you are awakening to your multidimensional self, your authentic self, you have to embrace the reality that you are one with everything. There is no separation. You can't say, hey, I'm just going to push you this over here. I'm going to push this over there. I don't want a part of this. It's not that you, because you're one, that you choose into darkness, but at the same time, you understand that light and dark and duality is all part of creation. It's all part of the one. And so when I choose into that kind of experience, I say, okay, I understand, I recognize that all things exist. And when I'm exploring a subject matter, I'm going to choose the path of love, not fear. And that's a choice. We're here to practice our free agency and free will. The law of the universe is free will.
Absolutely.
So creation, us exploring creation, the creator's never going to tell us what to do. We have to decide ultimately what part of creation we want to be experience, right? So I choose into the path of love. So if I choose into the path of love and I'm in a room of Buddhists, Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Jewish people, atheists, agnostic, New Agers, pagans, as a medicine woman, I come into that circumstance, and that's only a part of all the world religions, right? There's so many, and non-religion. But as a medicine woman, I come in and say, all of these individuals are my brothers and sisters of humanity.
We are one.
We are one. Where can we find the connection? Where can we find that common ground? It's not about saying, okay, I'm going to say you were wrong and you were wrong and you're wrong for how you experience life, and only I am right for the way that I experience life. That is a different lens. I honor their journey. It is not my responsibility to tell them or to force upon them what I think or what I think they should do, because that is for me an act of sorcery. When I push my will upon someone else, whatever that is. And a lot of people engage in sorcery who don't realize they're engaging in sorcery.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Because they're trying to enforce their will upon someone else and saying, you know what? We are one. You have the wisdom of the whole universe inside of you. I honor your journey, whatever that looks like. Where can we come to a common ground of love?
Mm-hmm.
Love is the common ground.
Absolutely.
Always. That's the common ground.
Yes. And I love that you're talking about this, because I was telling you how I've been listening. We both have been listening to the surrender experience, which was so funny. I was like, Candace, you have to listen to this. And you're like, I am right now.
Right now in this moment.
That was
so cool.
So cool. But also when you're talking about the space of sorcery, or the space of what we hold on to, is when we first got started working with you, you told me to read the 4 agreements, and what was the other one?
The invitation.
So I bought that, but then I had it in my truck and we went fishing and it flew out or something. So I started like 2 chapters in, and I'm like, clearly it wasn't supposed to read it. Yeah. But then again, Curtis and I, my husband, we just were like, let's read this book again, the 4 agreements. And at one point, he literally at the beginning talks about how our thoughts and our mind, how if we're saying something negative to someone, or we're putting negative thoughts, or we're bringing in this heaviness into someone's space, essentially we're using black magic.
Yep.
We are bringing that into someone's existence, or we're, maybe someone, we know that they're insecure about something and we're mad. So we're going to throw that little shoulder in there and bring up this heaviness. Well, that's the same concept of sorcery or black magic, or this heaviness that's there. And we don't think that we're doing it. We think, oh, I would never do that. But or when we're labeling someone,
like the witch wound is like, oh, this is what sorcery looks like.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Or when we're labeling someone, or when we're making someone else wrong, maybe someone's opinion about their medical freedom versus someone else's medical freedom, right? When we're making someone else wrong, I would encourage us to sit with that and see, is this really serving my higher perspective now? Like, am I feeling happy, or is this stress actually causing my body to feel physical elements? Because that's our reality. That's what we're here to do. And it's noticing, I don't know, I just think that we're in this space of really learning and growing. And I'm trying to find this perfect quote about that. So while I do that, do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, people have all of these ideas about what that is, what is bad energy, and, and people don't realize that when you're out there judging someone, or you are out there shaming someone, or you're trying to overpower or misuse your power by shaming them or trying to get them to do what you want them to do, that energy is, first of all, it's not centered in love. No matter if you are doing it because, let's say, unconsciously you're like, gosh, I'm just concerned about this individual. And so every time you talk to them, you're trying to get them to do what you want them to do because you're worried about them. But that energy is still rooted in fear. It's not rooted in love, trust, and faith. That is the common ground every single time, no matter what cross point you come to or what energy you come up against. And I know it sounds cheesy, but the typical quote, "Love is the answer." It's the truth. Love is the answer when you're navigating all of this information and all of these different perspectives and all of these different ways of life and culture and everything else, and all the different races and all these different things that we're trying to, men and women, okay, even that, coming together, and you're trying to find the answer. Love is the answer. How can you communicate in a way and hold space in a way that's centered in love for this other being that you are in contact with?
Absolutely. I agree. I totally agree. So I found this, I wanted to read some of this. Chapter 2, it's the first agreement. So in this book, he talks about these agreements that we as humans take on and we live with. And it dictates how we live life, how we perceive life, what we do. And so this is a way of helping us step outside of those agreements that we might not want to subscribe to, but yet that's just naturally what comes within. But here, so of course, this is the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Mm-hmm.
And it says
he is a Toltec shaman.
Okay. So it's all perfect. It all makes sense.
Yes.
So he says, why your word? Your word is power that you have to create. Your word is the gift that comes directly from God. And it talks about in the Bible, the word at the beginning was the word, and the word was good, right? And the word was God. And then here it goes, the word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The word is a force. It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think, and thereby to create the events of your life. You can speak. What other animals, what other in this world, whether has that ability to speak in those words? And then the last part is saying, depending upon how it is used, the word can set you free or it can enslave you even more than you know. All the magic you possess is based on your word. Your word is pure magic, and in misuse, your word is black magic. And then he goes into talking about that more. But I think that that's where we're at, is it's like, what is resonating, what's not, what's serving me, what's not, but not making others wrong. If something is serving them perfectly and it's not you, that's okay. It's okay to find that balance within yourself. And ultimately that love, that positivity, that space, like you're saying, love is the answer, which sounds so like, yeah, love is the answer. But in reality, that's what we came here to experience. Yeah.
Thank you for watching Modern Sages. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We are so grateful for your support. We have an Instagram account as well as on Facebook. We have our podcast, which is the Modern Sages podcast.
And we are so excited to launch our Gifts of Spirit classes in our Modern Sages Mystery School.
Absolutely. Oh, we're so excited. So we're going to link the information below in the show notes for more information about our mystery school.